Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank you, for attending this session and, of course, staying. Also, I would like to thank ISOG for, of course, having us today, and of course, letting us sharing our priming, our strategy in priming security AI revolution, and of course, for us to embrace the innovation, mitigation of the risk of in cybersecurity future. Okay, so. Yeah, I'll talk about, of course, the AI first. So the AI evolution. I believe AI evolution is actually faster than anyone's predicted because AI is so good, right? AI is so good in terms of what it does. Like, for example, a lot of big tech companies right now are actually adopting AI in their businesses, right? They're building infrastructure, right? Because, of course, the promise of AI, there's a lot of capabilities that you can do with AI. Like, for example, robotics, right? That's one. No, you infuse AI with robotics. You infuse with autonomous cars, right? And autonomous planes, something like that. Even in medical, no, you have now the capability to predict and detect if there's upcoming illness or critical illness to an individual. So we're seeing actually a lot of adoptions with AI, and we can see around 1 billion users under 2 years, and 1 million users adopt this in last hour, right? This is the next big thing. This is the innovations that we're actually into, okay? So in an enterprise today, you can see that there's two adoptions with AI. Number one is, of course, employees are using Gen AI applications. I believe we're very familiar with this one. And of course, enterprises are also building their own AI, right? So today we're going to, of course, I'm going to share you something that every enterprise needs to know, right? In terms of AI, because of course, AI is innovating rapidly how we do work, right? And it's also innovating, of course, the risk, okay? In terms of course, data leakage, uncontrolled access, and of course, also compliance is a challenge. In fact, I have multiple customers that already asking us, so how do we have, like, for example, visibility on what's actually the AI that's being used by the organization or by our employees. And another thing is, how do we control it, right? How do we control the access? What about the concern of data leakage? Okay, that's actually one of the problems with that they are facing right now. So in this session, I'll show you how you harness the power of AI and at the same time protecting your business or your organization, right? Or individuals in the organizations. So not just that, you will also have the clear path, okay, on how to secure your AI journey, your adoption to AI. Okay, so let me start by, of course, some input from ZNet that shows that, of course, again, users are now enhancing, or AI is actually enhancing how we do work. It's actually rapidly innovating how we do work, right? We have coders, we have developers that actually use advanced coders, right? We also have users that use probably, you use what we call you writing assistants, right? And this writing assistance actually enhances or polish our messages, okay? And next is, of course, for the marketing side is more on the content, video creations, image creations. And these are actually enhances how we do things. In fact, there's a prediction. I think every technology solutions has a predictions around 2030 that there will be some explosions with regards to AI, and we want to put our bet ourselves on that side, right? Around 12,000 AI application will be in use. In fact, this year at Palo Alto, we believe that we can actually, we could achieve, or we could actually use around more than 12 AI applications. Because right now, if you look at the market, it's already spanning a lot of custom AIs, LLM models. Like, for example, if you look at the market of Hugging Face, it's already have around 500K AI applications, right? And another thing is, of course, it positively impacts your business, right? Imagine walking out of a meeting and your minutes of meeting is already crafted for you and summarized, okay? The courtesy of course, of AI. Then it increases around 40% of higher work performance and also collaborations, okay? Meaning, like for example, you're using, of course, writing assistant wherein it actually avoids miscommunications, right? Which means improve the communication between peers. In cybersecurity, in communications and incident and response is very important, right? So another thing is, of course, transform marketing, right? So their marketing is actually benefiting from this because, of course, it can, generate content, videos, right? In an instance, you just type a prompt and that's it. You have, videos that don't need large productions, okay? But of course, in AI, at, usage is rising. At the same time, of course, the risk, right? So imagine a shadow AI application that's actually create a blind spot in the organizations, right? In the systems, the data leakage as well. Because right now we're seeing around 55% of workers are using unapproved Gen AI applications. Those are unsanctioned. Of course, we have sanctioned, we have unsanctioned, we have tolerated. But the problem with that unsanctioned is that what if our users is uploading data, uploading intellectual properties? That's a big concern, right? In fact, there's a big tech companies that actually some of their engineers or developers actually uploaded the source code, right? Even information of their chipset, which is of course intellectual property, right? So another thing is that we're seeing around 800% increase in general Gen AI traffic in 2024, which just leaves us limited to no visibility over Gen AI application traffic, right? So again, it expanded the attack surface by, of course, users are using unapproved Gen AI. Of course, it's also high risk of sensitive data leaks because workers are, using company data to upload to Gen AI applications. Not just that, of course, there's are also new attack types: insecure injection, malicious links, right? And of course, risk in marketplaces because we don't know if those applications are well maintained or if they have a malicious content. Okay. So there are some essentials that we need to note, right? In embracing AI. One, of course, we need to have a system that shows us, right, what Gen AI applications my employee are using, okay? And of course, limit the application so we can limit the attack surface. So meaning you should define what is sanctioned, unsanctioned, and tolerated, right? Additional to that, stop sensitive and proprietary data from being shared, okay? The question is, do we have that visibility right now? Do we have that control with regards to AI, okay? And of course, secure against the next generation of trends. Again, you heard that earlier that a lot of speakers are actually telling us that there's attackers or threat actors that also using Gen AI applications. Okay. So putting you back in control. So what is needed? Okay, what you need is of course visibility, right? Again, it's great visibility. This is not just a simple application control. This is more on focus on generative AI, right? You need to have a catalog, right? A system that have catalog with deep visibility on its attributes. So it's not just about signatures. It's more on how it behaves, right? How this application or this AI behaves, what are connected, what is actually being transferred, right? And of course, a robust access control, meaning based on our policy of the organization, we need to have a deep control on what are sanctioned, tolerated, and of course, unsanctioned applications. Okay, when we say unsanctioned applications, of course, it should be blocked. When we say, of course, sanctioned, these are allowed. These are actually the applications that are being used by the organization. With tolerated, we should also have a visibility and check the risk associated with those tolerated applications, of course, by using these Gen AI catalogs. And at the same time, right, priming with users, right? Gen AI coaching for users. So meaning while you do your policies, configurations, there's an AI, right, like a copilot that actually checking it, giving you validations of what are the best practice that you need to implement. If there's a mistake in configurations, it can alert you and it can also teach you what are needed to do. And of course, AI-powered data protection, meaning it should have classifying the data, right? So that data won't be leaked or sent to applications that are not permissible or that are unsanctioned. And at the same time, it should be integrated with, uh, of course, with SASE or your firewall. Okay, your investments with technology, right? Your adoption with zero trust, it should be integrated with those platformizations. Okay, not just that, it should have, of course, threat intelligence for customers worldwide. Meaning, of course, AI is very intelligent, right? So our tool or our concepts in adopting, preventing attacks or preventing AI risks is, of course, we should have intelligent data as well. Okay. Okay, this is just an example. Of course, with that concept, you now understand what is actually the endpoint is trying to access, what applications, right? So you have now the visibility and you have now the levels of control based on attributes and risk, okay? And why the user is actually accessing it and how, okay? So providing you that visibility, focusing on AI applications. And okay, not just, of course, you need a real-time AI real-time visibility, which means that what are the top AI applications that being used by the organizations, right? How the users access it, what is the traffic, what are being blocked, being allowed, how many of those, and how many sensitive data is being shared to the AI, okay? And how many risk that we're seeing on these applications that being used by the organization, right? So that's the portion of the employees using AI. There's another use case, of course, enterprise are building AI applications. So probably you're doing this part. And for this one, of course, with regards to applications, there's an enormous innovation with regards to applications, right? Before we have what we call the three-tier architecture, wherein you have a front end, middle application, and the database. Along comes, of course, the cloud infrastructure, where it actually modernized the approach. We're now doing microservices architecture, right? And the third wave is, of course, AI-powered application. Okay, but of course, there's also a risk with this part, with adopting or building an AI. We need also to protect it, right? Because it's actually risk to or susceptible to prompt injection. This is one of the example that threat actors can execute, right? And another thing is, and sensitive data leakage, of course, right? Users that upload informations in the AI applications can be also as an output for others, right? And yeah, insecure outputs like malicious links or directing the users to a malware. Okay, then you add in an AI agent to further expand the architecture, right? Because AI agent is actually part of the workforce process, right? Like for example, if you have a sales system wherein um, AI is actually interacting with your customers, right? Doing the process, doing the follow-up, and analytics in checking if how likely these customers will buy the items that you're selling, right? So with this AI agent, it also expanded the attack surface as well, okay? Like for example, an agent, it can also consists memory, right? It also have a memory. So it actually risks to memory poisoning and also tool misuse at the same time. Okay, so what are the requirements? There are three essentials that you require. Number one, as I mentioned, we need to have visibility and shows what are my assets in the environment. What the application, is it connecting to a multiple, like for example, AI models? And next is protecting the applications and the models in the agent and securing the data. So it's like a firewall for your AI applications, right? So if you have the perimeter and internal segmentation firewall, you should also have a firewall within, of course, your AI developed applications, right? For us to understand what traffic are being communicating with your AI applications. Okay. So yeah, so this is just showing you some concepts that we have. Of course, number one, you need to have an AI agent security, securing the agent, because of course, agent is part of the strategy of AI, right? LLM security, AI red teaming as well, doing of course pen testing the applications. Next is posture management, because now applications resides either the cloud on-prem, and and models are actually by a cloud or multiple AI models. We need to have a scanning, right? The capability to scan and to inspect the traffic. So again, this is showing you how we can help, right? Build a secure AI applications for the future of your journey in AI. Of course, we need to AC discovery, AI, protect the AI agent, and at the same time, a complete data protection and backend with less class platform, right? All right. So yeah, with that, this is actually the concept that I'm sharing. So, with regards to innovation of AI, we should also be innovating ourselves, innovating our approach, so we can be on the top, and AI as a co-pilot for us. Okay. So that's it for me, and thank you so much.